Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of the RAW Smackdown here on Cold Lasagna for the week of June 26, 2023. The Money in the Bank pay-per-view for the WWE is tomorrow, and normally I don't do the RAW Smackdown during a WWE pay-per-view week. However, since we are putting the RAW Smackdown on a little bit of a break because of NFL season preview month also starting tomorrow here on Cold Lasagna, I decided to do something special and give you a special edition of the RAW Smackdown here and now. So that being said, let's get into my personal highlights of the week from Raw and SmackDown by the WWE. So that being said, looking at the highlights from Monday Night Raw this past week, there are none. Like seriously, you look at this show and there was nothing to note of, especially considering it was a go-home show for Monday Night Raw and they weren't building anything towards it. Like there's literally nothing that you could take away from the show. It's like, wow, I'm excited for Money in the Bank from the Raw side of things. And yeah, there was absolutely nothing. So moving on to SmackDown, because there was at least a couple interesting things. As usual, we had the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens retain their titles against Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly almost won this match with a little bit of trickery, a little Bella Twin magic. However, it didn't work. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens would eventually beat them with their stunner and Huluva kick combo. So it was an okay tag team matchup there. Next up, we had Bayley defend her Money in the Bank ladder match spot in a match that we were supposed to get a week ago actually, but it never happened, against Shotzi Blackheart. And in this matchup, Shotzi actually almost had the matchup won. However, Io Sky actually helped out Bayley by putting her foot on the rope when the referee was counting the pin in favor of Shotzi Blackheart. This caused Shotzi Blackheart to go after Io Sky, but that distraction allowed Bayley to rake Shotzi's eyes and hit the rose petal to win the match and keep her spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I thought this matchup was supposed to serve the purpose of trying to further the dissension of damage control between Io and Bayley, but I guess not, because they looked more like a united front, considering that they cut off one of Shotzi's ponytails backstage after. So it was a little kind of weird there. What was the point of this match? So next up, we had Logan Paul on the Grayson Waller Effect. He basically made his intentions felt that when he would win Money in the Bank, he'd either get his revenge on Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns, because, you know, past history. But then here comes LA Knight. Yeah, he went on to talk about how Logan Paul was handed everything since he arrived in WWE. When he came into WWE, he wasn't handed anything, even though he felt he should have been handed everything as well. And then this was probably the best line of the night by Logan Paul. He pretty much implied about LA Knight's 20-year career as a manager. Wow, talk about LA Knight's like age right there. Like, holy shit. LA Knight didn't have like a rebuttal there. He didn't like have a response there. It's like, hey fans, tell him who's the man here or something like that. So that pretty much also brought out Santos Escobar and Butch for the triple threat match, and Butch would win that matchup. So it was Logan Paul, man. Sure, some of you may hate him, but it's either gonna come down to him or LA Knight tomorrow night. So then we had the WWE Women's Championship match between Asuka and Charlotte Flair, and my god, this was bad. And that was thanks to Charlotte botching in this match. But the kind of more important aspect of this was Bianca Belair, even though she was banned from ringside, she found a loophole by buying a ticket to be front row. You knew shenanigans were gonna happen when they started fighting at ringside. Charlotte hits a big boot on Bianca, and then Bianca's all pissed, and then she goes on and attacks Asuka. And then when she gets a hand in the face by Charlotte, she also attacks Charlotte, and then she gives them a KOD, and then everyone assumes Bianca's a heel now. Like, really? That doesn't really look like heel behavior, especially considering she was still whipping her hair back and forth, smiling. Like, not really heel behavior, if you ask me. It does set up a future triple threat match at SummerSlam, so at least does that purpose, I guess. So then we had the final confrontation for the Bloodline. Civil War. Yeah. Roman came out and gave the Usos one last chance to apologize and acknowledge the tribal chief. But the Usos were like, no, we're not going to do that. They did acknowledge, however, that once they pin Roman, and they will be the first ones to pin Roman since 2019, he will no longer be the tribal chief. They'll also have their vote on someone else being the tribal chief. And that someone else was Solo Sikoa. He clearly didn't take kindly to Roman Reigns laughing at him. When Roman saw that, he was like, oh fuck. Even if it wasn't then and there, he knew he was fucked. Roman tried to defuse the situation, trying to start something, pal. And then the two sides would eventually brawl with each other. Security tried to break it up, but they failed. And then the show ended with Jey Uso flying onto everybody, and that was the show. So overall, I thought this segment was not as intense as the previous ones before with the Bloodline, but I mean, it served this purpose. And it also creates an interesting thought that maybe they do pull the trigger on Solo turning on Roman Reigns, however that may be. Yeah, it may be a little too early to do so, but they have to consider it at some point. Also, something to consider with the WWE is that they really have to add a stipulation with this Civil War match. Like, I really want to see anything go with this Bloodline Civil War. If you really want to make it feel like a blood feud, make it anything's go. You can't have it just a standard tag team matchup. You really got to have them go tornado tag, no holds barred in that London arena. Like, you really got to make them go all out in that main event to make it live up to its billing as the Bloodline Civil War. Make it go Captain America style, baby. But anyway, that is the Raw Smackdown special edition, ladies and gentlemen, pre-Money in the Bank edition. And yeah, I'd like to know your thoughts this week from this episodes of Monday Night Raw and Friday Night Smackdown as we head into Money in the Bank tomorrow night. So anyway, this is DylanLasagna signing out, and keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of sports. And until next time, peace out.